Okay, guys, I think enough waiting. Rupal, wherever you're typing, that's the chat option. That's the chat box. I hope I should be audible. I should be visible. Can everyone give me a very, very quick yes in the chat option, please? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Right now, what do we have in store? Who am I? What I'm going to discuss? I think for those who have attended any of my webinar earlier, I might be a very familiar name to you or a familiar face to you. Hello, everyone. My name is Nitin. I'm one of the founders for CareerLabs. In fact, the youngest one, and been a 720 scorer in GMAT myself and a 98.3 percentile in the CAT exam. Now, what do? I love talking, as you can see, but most importantly, I love to go around, help students in terms of what different kind of programs that they can go ahead and they can make the most of it. What are different kind of uh, programs to each and everything that you can go ahead and you can make the most of. So guys, yeah, that's what predominantly I'm going to do today with all of you. And I'll be joined by someone very, very special. Let me share the screen and let me give you a very, very quick insight on whom we are going to talk to today, right? Someone is going to join us, Ms. Richa Agrawal, someone who is the Senior Manager Admissions and Finance at the Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, someone who's been from very, very, very prestigious name like the IIM Bangalore, right? So she is already here along with her teammate, that is Mr. Kaushik. Richa, I hope I'm audible to you as well.
Absolutely, Nitin, and a very good evening to you, and a big shout out to ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. I know we started this evening with a little low tempo, but we are sure that we'll make it very exciting for you. So hang in there.
Yeah, perfect, perfect, right? So thank you so much, Richa, and probably thank you from everyone here at CareerLabs and all my lovely attendees here today. We have got a good number on a weekday evening. That really goes
Right.
on to show that how serious students and probably the everyone out there today, they are serious about their entire preparation. I personally really like October. Why do I really like October when I say that? It's because of a very small thing. It's because October, November, this entire time that is there, it's a very deciding phase for a lot of people, those who are looking out for their MBA, because typically when the round one deadlines are always coming towards an end, the round two is just around the corner, and a lot of people get serious, especially from the last 6 to 7 years. Personally, I have seen it keeps on happening that a lot of people get serious about their entire MBA application, and that's when they start looking out. Hey, what do I need to do? Whom do I get the right information? So we keep on doing this very lovely discussions with a lot of these schools, and very happy to host you today here, Richa, along with your entire team. And I'm pretty sure the discussion today is going to really help a lot of folks
Absolutely.
that are here today. Yeah,
Absolutely. That's the idea. Absolutely.
right. Perfect, perfect, Richa. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get started. So
Right.
I'll just probably take a quick pulse of everyone who's there with me, right? Guys, can you very quickly tap it? I know I've got a bunch of students as well. I've got a bunch of working professionals, a lot of people, those who are kind of lost in ISB is one of the schools that you want to get into. Quickly, can you let me know in the chat option that what exactly are you doing right now? What exactly is your career status? Type in student if you're a student, type in a working professional if you're a working professional, type in anything what your heart desire. Let me just have a quick look in terms of whom am I talking to today. If you're a working professional, let's say Priyanka says she's a working professional, definitely let us know that how much years of work experience do you have, what role are you in. If you're probably, you could be an IT engineer, 4 years of experience, you could be a supply chain officer, you could be a banker, anything. Definitely go ahead and let me know. Okay, we've got Prateek, work experience 6 years, MTech from NIT, engineering experience 10 years. That's great. I manufacture soaps and detergents as an entrepreneur. That's interesting. 11 years
Interesting.
of work experience. CA 2 years of experience. Working professional 3 years of experience. Working as LPG distributor. Awesome. MTech
Entrepreneur.
from NIT. Right. So you know what, Richa, whenever I take this particular webinar, that's one of the best part that I really like, is that I've got people
Mm-hmm.
coming from different domains, different bunch.
Models.
I know I've got a bunch of students as well. I've got a good amount of people, those who are
Mm-hmm.
working in some very exciting field. Some of them
Right.
already done their MBA, looking forward to what exactly more they can go and get going. So
Right.
you
Right.
see, I've
Right.
got Ravi Kiran, 7.6 years of work experience in the automobile field. I've got Shubham with 4+ years of experience. I've got a chartered accountant, 6 years of experience. Sukanya,
And the
awesome. I
best
think,
thing is, I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know, I just feel that some of the names are so familiar. Like, I don't know, I think I have interacted with Ravi Kiran for sure. This name rings a bell. A few other names. I think Priyanka was another name. So interesting. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, definitely, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
awesome. I think that sets the mood just right for the entire
Great.
discussion here today, right? So, Richa, I mean, just before we
Right.
get started, I've got a good bunch of people. All of them want to get
Hmm.
into a top school like ISB, right? What
Right.
can we expect? I, as an attendee, probably what can we expect out of this very exciting discussion here today?
Right. So, Nitin, the agenda is pretty clear. One, to quickly introduce, if you've not attended any of a session before, guys, to tell you what ISB is all about, what is our vision, what is it that has it in store for our students, what are your key takeaways as a student from ISB PGP, right? So that's the key topic that we're going to address today. And of course, the center part of it is that how to crack and everything in between, right? From preparing a GMAT GRE to building a strong profile to cracking the interviews. So everything about how to crack ISB and what is it that your student life looks like at ISB, and post your completion of the program, how your career looks like. So we will try and capture everything before, the during, and the after.
Perfect. I think, Richard, that's something, while the students were registering for this discussion as well,
Right.
we got a hold for a lot of questions also. I have
Great.
bifurcated them into some of the questions into different domains that I
Sure.
could, ranging from
Sure.
scholarships to what your profile gets into, post
Yeah, absolutely.
program, the things that are there, right? So let's try to
Absolutely.
have a very candid discussion because that's what the webinar series at CareerLabs is famous for. I have got some very tough and very exciting questions for you also, right?
Wow.
Right?
Looking
I,
forward to.
yeah, definitely. So I think
Right.
that is something that is going to really help our audience here today also. And
Great.
I wish that probably someone who's a step closer towards ISB as their dream college, or someone who would want to go ahead and move a step closer towards the entire process, I think the
Right.
discussion today is going to really help them out in the entire process, right?
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
Perfect, right? So
Great.
probably I just wanted to, keep it like a mix of couple of questions along with whatever you would have probably planned to discuss with all of us, right? So I
Right.
think, guys, we have standard marketing PPT that we would probably share, and we can probably run through it, right? But
Right.
why don't we, Richa, keep a couple of questions in between?
Mm-hmm.
Starting, I would want to definitely talk about
Right.
the Indian School of Business because it's one of my favorite colleges as well personally,
Right.
and
Right.
if I'm someone who's a working professional or a
Hmm.
early, someone who's at a very
Yeah.
early stage of their career,
Right.
or
Right.
even probably a veteran or a very senior leadership experience as well, I think I would really want to get into ISB because the kind
Right.
of exposure that they bring into, right, the kind of pulse that the alumni have shown earlier as well, and
Hmm.
the kind of industry leaders that they are today right now, of course, it becomes very exciting. So my first question to you probably here on behalf of everyone is, what makes, I know it's a very generic question, but I would want to know that probably what makes ISB special. I mean, if I've
Hmm.
got my numbers right, as per the ranking, it's the number one college in the country right now, world rank
Right.
22, almost
Right.
there,
Right.
right?
Right.
What makes
Right.
it what makes it the best business school in the country? What do you think it's those top 2 points that makes it absolutely the best in the country right now?
I think there are two things. One, the focus on research driven curriculum, because of which we are able to build future leadership pipeline, and because of which our alums and students are creating not just mark within the country but beyond the boundaries of India, right? And second, the focus on diversity, the holistic profile evaluation, because of which we are able to have a very great cohort. And I think we will talk more about, what are those various parameters that ISB looks at. But the very approach of a very holistic profile evaluation, I think that's what puts together a great cohort of 900 students on either of our campuses. And that is very enriching for your entire learning process. And the second bit is the focus on the various partnerships that we have, the various global faculty that we're able to bring in, the kind of research that we bring in into the curriculum with help of our partner schools. I think it's a great learning experience, and that's what makes ISB a very unique school, and that's why ISB is the youngest school in the FT ranking chart, right? So in very less time, we are topping the leadership chart. So I think it's just that immense focus on research, and second, immense focus on diversity, holistic profile evaluation. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. I think that really sets the mood, right? So, Richa, I've got this presentation. Probably I will just
Right.
help you navigate
Right.
through it.
So, guys,
Right?
the idea is that it will help set us a preamble of. I talked about what ISB believes in. So it's very important for you to understand the overall culture of the school, right? So that you know what you're getting into. To understand the whole origin story of ISB, I have given you a quick glimpse, a quick capsule teaser of what is important to ISB. So it's important for you to imbibe that. And of course, it has those important elements that you would want to know, right? Essentially, understand the ROI of your MBA. So what is it that ISB has to offer to its students? So we'll briefly cover these aspects so that it generally covers 80 to 85% of all the questions that you may have in your mind. And then, of course, like Nitin has said, he's already consolidated a set of questions and which we'll take them. I'm not going to bore you much. I'm going to try and keep it very crisp, but allow me to spend 10 to 15 minutes on these slides so that you get introduced to ISB if you've not attended any of our sessions before. And for those, quick revision time, guys. Right? So with that getting started, guys, ISB started out in 2001 and we're 20 years old, right? And when we started out with one single vision: to be topmost research focused business school and to build future leader pipeline, right? So we decided not to reinvent the wheel, but to partner with already existing best players, for which we partnered with Wharton and Kellogg. They are our founding associate B schools, and they bring in various faculty exchange programs, various student exchange programs, the way the curriculum is designed at ISB. So they have a huge say in the way the entire MBA program is managed at ISB. Moving on, we also partnered with LBS and MIT. LBS and MIT, guys, as you would be aware, they are the foremost schools focused on research, right? I have talked about the importance of research in curriculum. They helped us build our research focused practices, our research centers, the cutting edge curriculum. So that's what makes LBS and MIT important. Needless to say, we have various faculty coming in from these schools. We have student exchange programs, and they are also our founding associate B schools. Finally, moving on, we also partnered with the Fletcher School. Fletcher School is known for its law and legal expertise. That's where we get our public policy expertise from. We also have a research center on public policy, wherein we are on the advisory board of many various central or state government projects. And not just these 5 business B schools, guys, we are also collaboration with over 50 business schools across the globe, wherein we have various student exchange programs, and we have over 200 plus faculty who move on. So this was about the origin story. Moving on, I talked about ISB being the youngest school in the FT list, right? So in less than a decade's time, we were already topping the leadership board here, and we've been consistently ranked #1 business school in India, #4 in Asia, #32 globally. We're also #1 in the world for the highest salary growth that we have to give to our students. So that was about FT, but not just FT. We are also #1 ranked by The Economist, by the Bloomberg. We are ranked #12 by the Poets and Quants, and so on and so forth. In short, ISB has in very less time achieved the mark of, achieved the epitome of delivering quality global education right here in the heart of the country. Right? So that was about the origin story, and that was about where ISB stands. Now moving on to the important bit, what is it that ISB has to offer to its students, right? So these are the 5 important bits. Let me talk about them one by one. The first one being the faculty, right? So at ISB, we follow a very unique model, which is called the portfolio model. What is portfolio model? We have resident faculty, we have visiting faculty, we have clinical faculty. Resident faculty, fairly simple. These are ISB faculty, over 70 plus teaching faculty living across both the campuses. We have visiting faculty. I talked about collaboration. So we have over 200 faculties who visit from these various institutes, these colleges that we have partnerships with. Finally, the clinical faculty. Now, they are not professors, but they're industry experts. They're subject matter experts of their industry or their function. So let me give you an example of what I mean by clinical faculty. Everybody heard of NASA? Who was the chief former knowledge officer of NASA? Dr. Edward Roger. Dr. Edward Roger retired last year from NASA. He has been working at NASA for over 2 decades. He has been teaching at ISB for over 1 decade now, right? And what does he teach? So let me ask you a question, that what are rocket scientists known for, right? Dealing complexity. When we say, right, that it isn't rocket science, means it isn't complex. So imagine learning managing business complexity from a rocket scientist, someone who deals business complexities day in and day out and know better than anybody else, right? So that's what clinical faculty bring to you, the expert knowledge, the expert application of your knowledge in the industry. So that was about the faculty. Moving on to the second piece, which is the integrated learning, which is very important and which is why we're all here, right? So why is it integrated? We have classroom learning and we have outside classroom learning. Classroom learning, fairly simple, 1 year, 8 terms. The first 3 terms are your core terms. 4th through the 8th term are your electives. Based on the electives that you choose, you can specialize in any one, max 2. All of this information, guys, is on the website. So I'm not going to spend time on what are the electives, what are the specializations. The entire list of the curriculum is there, right? Moving on to the outside classroom learning. Again, it's a 3-pronged approach. Peer networking, peer learning, student exchange programs. Yes, there are about 900 diverse profiles across both the campuses. So learn from each other. You'll be living with these 900 students for 1 year. So the kind of multiple perspective that they bring to the table, great learning opportunities. We have professional clubs, we have social clubs. They conduct various workshops, seminars, conferences. Again, all great learning opportunities, right? So if you're interested in consulting, go join the consulting club. If you're interested in net impact, please go ahead and join the social net impact club. So based on your interest or based on kind of career switch or the transition that you're aiming at, please go ahead and join these clubs. The second bit, which is the events and the competitions, again, very important. The students focus a lot on something that you call here as case comps, right? A bunch of students very recently represented in Singapore from Mohali, and they won the gold award. And I think very recently, 2 weeks back, a bunch of students from the Hyderabad campus won the case comp in Amazon. All of this information, again, is there on the social media, their entire case methodology approach and what is it that they had to present. But the idea is that you get to benchmark yourself, not just in the international markets, not just in the domestic markets, but also from students and industry experts. You get to learn from them, right? So again, great learning opportunities here again. The third, which is the very important, is the applied learning. Now, guys, we all know that ISB does not offer internships. But why? Right? Because ISB hires, recruits students who already have at least 24 months of experience when they join the PGP program. Irrespective of whether you are coming through the YP route or the EO route, when you join the program, you at least have 24 months of experience, right? So you don't need internships. Internships are offered by those schools wherein they're recruiting fresh graduates for their 2-year MIM programs, right? So that's why we do not offer internships. However, does it mean that for this 1 year, you'll be away from your industry application, industry learnings? No, that's where the ELPs come into the picture. So for all those working professionals or all of those who want to move into the corporate, this is the module that you should be gunning at. It's a live business project that you work with as a consultant, and your mentor is a faculty who's been assigned to you. You get to present your observations, your findings to the management, and in case it is shortlisted and in case you're able to impress the management, you can also convert it as a PPO, right? This was for working professionals. What is it that we have for entrepreneurs? We have incubation cells, 1 each at Hyderabad and Mohali campus. They offer various modules, guys, be it from the ideation to execution to the market, building your pitch, pitching it to the VCs, assigning you a mentor who could be a faculty, could be an alum, could be an industry expert. They have various capsules, they have various modules which take care of all of this, right? If after 1 year, after your graduation, your startup has been incubated, they take care of you for the next 1 year. And how do they do that? They give you a free office space. They give you a stipend so that you can take care of your EMI or your living expenses, etc. Even after 1 year, if you're not comfortable with your setup and if you want to move back to a more secure job, like you want to go back to the corporate, you can come and sit at the placements and you can take up any job of your choice, right? So these are the various opportunities that you get at ISB. Moving on very quickly to the third bit that we have to offer to us, which is the stellar alum network, right? So we can move on to the next slide. Yes, so I'll spend very quickly 2 minutes here on the class profile. Again, guys, this is the class profile of the current batch, which is on the campus. Very interesting stats, guys. All the numbers in blue are from the Hyderabad campus. All the numbers from the green, in the green, are from the Mohali campus. And if you check out either the gender diversity or the academic diversity or the demographics, be it the age profile, the work experience profile, we're ensuring diversity. We ensure that there is equal learning opportunity irrespective of which campus you're on. And why this is important is that while you have a choice to indicate your preference for Mohali or Hyderabad campus, the final decision is made by the management, the school management, keeping this diversity in mind, right? So do not second guess your profile, do not second guess your candidature. It is not, your allocation of the campus is not a reflection of your candidature or your performance in the overall interview or the application process. It's just keeping this diversity in mind, right? Again, most common question on the slide is the GRE. What is that one right GMAT GRE? Guys, there's no one right answer. It's a range, and this is not a prescribed range of ISB. It is the range in which the current class is there, right? The current class of 23 is there. For GMAT, very quickly, 610 to 780, GRE 306 to 339, right? So again, this information is there on the website. If you want, you can take a screen grab. But yes, very important data points for you to keep in mind, that there is no right or wrong. It's a range. Ultimately, you have to work on your profile. What is more important to ISB is your diversity. Speaking of diversity, my next slide is a quick snapshot of the various diverse profiles that we have in the class. So all of those who come from very unconventional corporate background, like you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you could be a Fauji, you could be an influencer, you could be a vlogger, you've not done the typical 9-to-5 job, but you are second guessing your candidature. Should I even apply to ISB? That's your answer, guys. Approximately 10 to 12% of the class each year is extreme diversity at ISB, right? In our current class, we have Ajay Jairam, who's an ace shuttler, world champion, ranked 13. Next year, we have Prathamesh Singh, an IPL player, currently playing for KKR, who will be joining the class of 24, along with you guys. So each year, we have very diverse profiles, but they all share that one common thought, that they ultimately want to move into management. It could be sports management or it could be adventure management, but ultimately they've understood the importance of blending in management in whatever roles that they are playing, right? So just wanted to spend some time there. But with that, now we'll move on to the third point, which is the stellar network that we've built. 20 years, folks, in very less time, we've built a formidable network of 13,500 plus alums, right? 70% of our alums are based out of India, but 20% of them are based outside the boundaries of India. So all of those questions around, do we get an opportunity to settle abroad after doing this program? That's your answer. Approximately 21% of our alum network is based out of India. Right, we have over 550 alums who are at CXO position. We have over 600 alums who are entrepreneurs, and we have approximately 12 unicorns, the made in ISB that we call it as, right? Two important key takeaways, guys. One, that your learning doesn't end at this 1 year at ISB, right? It's a lifelong learning that you're embarking on. So we have something called SIGs. These SIGs have been formed by alums, and the agenda is that every quarter or month, they have city meets, they do these online workshops in collab with either faculty or industry experts, faculty from our partner schools or ISB faculty. They conduct various workshops to understand the best trends, what's new, what's in, to unlearn and to learn new things, right? And the second key takeaway is, guys, that your career transition doesn't end with the placements here at ISB, right? It's just another step closer to the leadership hierarchy or the ladder that you're aiming at. So this network, again, is a great fallback option for you for either changing your organization or you want to change your country. We have a dedicated job portal, mentoring portal, wherein you can reach out, you can schedule a mentoring session with any alum from any organization, any industry, and understand if there is any fitment of your profile in their organization. So again, great opportunities for you to explore even after your 1 year at ISB ends. It's a new journey that opens up, right? So that was about the stellar alum network that we have to offer. Moving on to the fourth bit, which is the facilities. I have briefly talked about the two campuses, guys. Yes, we have two campuses, but at ISB, we believe it's one school, two campuses, one experience. I'm not playing a video here which talks about the student life across two campuses. It's there on the website. But the whole idea is to showcase that it's just the same. The facilities are just the same. It's an integrated admissions process. You only apply to ISB, and the final allocation, like I said, is made keeping in mind the diversity and nothing else. All right. The recruitment, the placements are also, it's a continuation, Nitin, to the same thing. I want to emphasize that it's an integrated placements process. Even the recruiters do not know which campus you come from. They ultimately know that they're recruiting an ISB student. They are not privy to whether you are an ISB Mohali student or an ISB Hyderabad or a Mohali student. Your final award of your degree does not mention the campus. When you get your alum status and your alum card, it has no mention of the campus. It's just for the ease of logistics that we have two campuses. And lastly, we also have exchange programs between the campuses. Folks on the Hyderabad campus get to spend one term on Mohali campus and vice versa. Mohali campus guys come get a chance to visit and attend one term on the Hyderabad campus. Finally, the career opportunities, the placements, guys, very important. It's a dedicated team of 30 plus trained professionals who work very closely with PGP students from the word go. Their agenda is not just to get you a job, but they dream, they aspire to get you the right role in your dream organization. And I think that's what makes us the #1 B school with respect to placements as well in the world, right? 900 students, more than 2,000 offer letters, which means essentially each student had more than 2 offer letters, which also means that each student is allowed to sit through many interviews. You can have many offer letters in your hand and then pick the best choice, right? Perhaps the only B school, Ivy League B school, who allows its students to sit through multiple interviews. This is the average 80%, the central mid 80% is 34 lakhs. And the pre-ISB, post-ISB salary increases approximately, again, an average of 173% growth, guys. On your extreme right-hand side, you'll see a Venn diagram. Again, a very important data point. All of those who have questions about, can I do an industry shift? Can I do a functional shift? Guys, that's your answer. 79% of our current class have seen an industry shift at the placements. Approximately 78.5% of them have seen a functional shift. Both industry and functional shift are 65%, right? So don't worry about the shifts. You only focus on the learning bit. ISB will give you enough opportunities to get you your dream role, right? Moving on to the next slide. It's just a quick indicative list of the recruiters, but more detailed placement report is, guys, there on the website, so we're not spending too much time there. We'll quickly talk about the admissions process. So there are 3 entry routes, right? We have direct entry. So for all of those who have more than 2 years of experience, when you apply to the ISB program, when you're shortlisted, you get a direct admission letter to join the upcoming cohort. For all of those who have less than 2 years of experience, as on 31st March 2023, you will be an early entry option. If you are shortlisted, if you get your offer letter, you will join the PGP cohort when you complete 24 months of experience. Finally, the third one, the YLP route, is for all the final and the pre-final year students. You also join the PGP program. This is a great flexible option that you have. You apply to the PGP program only for YLP students. Right now, you can apply without a GMAT GRE. And then you get about 1 year's time to submit your score. If you're shortlisted, you get a deferred admission letter, which means you can join the PGP program after you've completed 20 months of experience. Why 20? Because across India, we understand the graduation gets over maybe April, May, June, July. So rather than passing on the pressure to the student, ISB is absorbing that leakage of 3-4 months. Hence, 20 months only for YLP. 24 months mandatory for EO and direct. So these are the 3 entry routes. Very quickly talking about the application process. So in my next slide, I've talked about it's an online application process. You need only for direct entry and the EO folks, you need to have completed your bachelor's degree. Please upload the documents in the application form. You should have a valid GMAT GRE score as on 4th of December, which is the round 2 deadline. It has 1 LOR, 2 essays. LOR, somebody from your professional network only. Even if there are entrepreneurs joining us tonight, you can reach out to your customers, your clients, an advisor who's not a family member. All right. So you can reach out to anyone. For working professionals, you can reach out to your previous reporting manager, somebody from your previous organization. It's just fine. For all the 4Gs, all of those from the banking industry, where there are firewalls, etc., you can enter the personal email ID of your recommender. So all of those provisions are there in the form. You just need to enter the email ID. The email will get triggered. Your recommender will fill in the form and send it to us. We don't need any PDF. We don't need any hard copy. There is no template. It's already a questionnaire which is prepared, which will be sent to him. You just need to onboard your recommender in your journey and upload his email ID in the portal, and that's it. 2 essays, topics are already given, guys, so log in, feel free to go through it. But just keep these 2 questions in mind, not just for the essay, while you're building your entire application form. Why me? Why should ISB give that 1 seat to me? And second question, your clarity on why you want to do an MBA right now and why ISB. How ISB can help you in your journey to from point B to reaching point B. In that pursuit, you would have identified certain weaknesses, certain gaps. So how ISB can help fill those gaps. So that clarity is what we're expecting for in the essays, and that will also help prepare you for your interviews, right? So that was about the application overview. And I'll, in my next slide, very quickly talk about scholarships. I think if I'm not mistaken, the next slide is scholarships. Yes. So guys, yes, round 2 has scholarships for you guys. Up to 75% of your tuition fee can be waived off. So for Indian students, the first 3 buckets are important: merit-based, need-based, diversity. The 4th one is for all of those who are holding non-Indian passport, right? So for Indian students, first 3 important: merit. All students by default are eligible for merit waiver. So when your application is being evaluated, you are given a score, right? Each elements have score. I'll talk about those parameters at length in some time. So each element, each parameter has a score. Your final score will make you eligible for merit waivers. Need-based, for all of those whose family income, your income included, you, your parents. For women, it's only spouse. Okay, so you, your spouse, and your parents, your family income should be less than 18 lakhs. You're eligible for a need-based waiver. Again, all of this is there in the application form. You just need to select the right one. Each student can select all 3. The school will award you the maximum. If you score maximum on merit, that will be awarded. You will be only awarded 1, but you can apply to all 3. Diversity, again, I think it's a creative space. There is no right answer. There's no wrong answer. You can get as creative. You can create your own niche, guys. Pitch your case in the best possible way. Bring in your own diversity on the table, right? So this is going to be totally dependent on the essay that you're going to be building. So I think, yeah, that's it. And my next slide, final slide, is a quick reminder of the upcoming deadline, which is December 4th. That's the number and the email ID, but we're right here and we're taking questions. So that's it from my side, Nitin. Thank you so much. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for hearing me out.
Perfect, perfect. I think I was making notes. I had like pen and, I was like, okay, is there something that
I know you
I
told me
can...
you're applying to PGP soon.
Correct, correct. So I was, just making notes in terms of what can help me and my, fellow
Love
participants here. So
it.
just
Great.
give me a second. And so what I've done is that, while we were going through, because we are in the process of helping out a lot of people in terms of their application, in terms of how do they get
Right.
into, ISB. And there are few
Right.
things that I think the audience here today would want to know more about it. And, probably what exactly they can go and they can do, what they can expect out of the entire process. So I've made a good bunch of lists. I've got it on my second screen here as well. So
Great.
maybe I'll start with a couple of things and maybe we can keep it very candid, and I would want to hear it direct from
Sure. I'm only worried
from
about the
you.
difficult questions, though.
No, I'm pretty sure you can handle it very well, Richa. So yeah, so I think it's a very good question, and I want everyone listening to me right now to type in a me if you relate with this question, right? So there's a question box or a question mark on the right hand side of the screen. Feel free to utilize that and let me know. So Richard, the question is that, hey, I'm not coming from an IIT, NIT or a BITS. I don't come from a top college. I don't come from a tier 1, a beta engineering or some other college that is there, or any
Yes.
other bachelor's degree. And on top
Right.
of it, I've not been very meritorious in terms of my marks. I've not been a very academically sound or like a 9 CGPA or a topper or a
Perfect.
like someone who has got great marks. But I've had 4-5 years of work experience and I've done fair enough. I worked in startups, I've worked in accelerated environments,
Yeah.
and I've learned a lot of things. Do you think I stand a chance at ISB PGP? Guys, type in a me.
Wow.
I mean, this is something that I've gotten from a lot of folks. You can just type in a me if you relate. Don't worry, we won't call out your name, but you can definitely go and you can let me know. Awesome.
Yes.
You can see, as you can
You
see,
know,
Richa, we
Nitin,
have got a bunch of people who have, right. So yeah,
you
please go ahead.
started out you started out with like one big bang question, I must tell you. Very important question. And so I have a short answer also and I have a long answer also. So please allow me to give you both, right? The short
Please
answer
go
is
ahead.
absolutely, absolutely you're eligible. You are the right person to apply to PGP, ISB PGP. Now let me give you a long-winded answer to this as well. So guys, when I was talking about the merit scholarship, I talked about that I will take time and I will talk about the 5 elements, 5+6 I call it. So hear me out, guys. So how are you evaluated, right? So there are 6 parameters on which you are graded, on which you are scored, right? And I always tell people that focus on something that you can currently control. Control the controllables. You cannot change your past. You cannot go back in the past and change things for you. So don't worry, don't fret, don't get overwhelmed, right? So what is it that you can control today? Your choice of your recommender, you spending time on your application and building a very strong case of yourself. And third, of course, your preparation for your GMAT or the GRE. These 3 things are the most important. Please don't ask me, ma'am, weightage, this, that. I have all the answers, but I cannot disclose the weightage of those parameters. But these 3 are the most important parameters, guys. Spend time on this. What is the 4th parameter? The academic pedigree. All right. Now, yes, you could be coming from a non-marquee school, from a very tier 2 city, but just that's just fine, right? That is something that you cannot change, so don't worry. Ultimately, what we're looking for is that the program is going to get delivered in English, and English is your primary language. And you will be able to handle the recruitment on the placement day, right? So that's it. That's all that we are interested in. We are not interested in the brand of the school or the brand of the metro, the tier 1 Ivy League, etc., etc. Not interested. So don't worry about that. There are no points for the brand or the marquee names. The 5th point again is your career progression. Again, a lot of questions come that I'm not a consultant. I am not coming from a marquee, the top 4, the big 5, the Fortune 500. Guys, if we start looking at this, we will never have entrepreneurs in the class. We'll never have startup owners in the class, right? The whole concept, the whole idea of the focus on diversity is that we want multiple perspectives. And we totally understand that the more niche your profile is, the more niche is going to be your challenges, the more bring the learnings that you bring to the table, right? So here, when I talk about career progression, I am looking at the kind of professional you have evolved to, how you started out vis-a-vis where you are in 2 months, 1 year, 2 year, 10 years, 20 years, how you have evolved as a professional, the kind of roles and responsibilities that have evolved in your profile. You could be a manager then, you're still a manager. I'm not interested in your promotions. I'm not interested in your salary. I'm not interested in the name of the organization that you come from. I'm also not interested whether you are a vice president currently or you're a manager currently. I'm more interested in the kind of roles and responsibilities that you're handling, right? So that's the 5th point. So you are given points for these 5 points, which decides whether you're coming for the interview or you're not coming for the interview. If you're coming for the interview, your 6th point comes in, which is your interview score, which is given, it's a recommendation by the panelists. The panelists are alums. So that's your interview score. So 5+1, this will give you a foot in the door at the ISB gate. So it's not just dependent on your school. Coming back to the question, your original question, guys, don't worry. You could be an engineer, non-engineer, engineer from the non-IITs, the NITs, that's just fine. But you could be doing a stellar work currently, or what you want to do next is path breaking. So that's more important for us. That story is more important, which will come from the essay.
Perfect. I think very well answered that, Rich. I think that would give the much needed confidence also for someone who has not been very academically
Right.
sound. And
Right.
Miss Kritika Srinivasan, who's the principal consultant at CareerLabs, she always gives this example, and I really like because it's very funny and very weird at the same time. Is that I wish I had a time stone. I wish I had the time machine. Probably I could go back in
Yeah.
time. I could change my college. I could change my
See,
marks
there you
that
go.
we got, right?
Yeah.
And but unfortunately, none of us have that. So there's no point of
Right.
sitting and cribbing rather about I don't have great marks or I don't have
Absolutely.
great college.
Absolutely.
I think you mentioned this very nice point of what's in your control. And I think
Correct.
what's in our control is definitely that we can go to, we can work on the things. And I think that's what
Right.
is leading to my next question is that we always talk about this word profile. And I think it's a most
Right.
overutilized but most underrated word when it comes to MBA application, not just at ISB, but
Right.
any business school anywhere
Any
all across
business
the world.
goal.
Uh, I would like to quote this one thing. So one of the PGP graduates, Shivam Shashikant, he's a product manager at CareerLabs Byju's, and he told a very interesting line while advising to one of the clients. And he said this in Hindi. I'll probably translate to everyone else as well. He said that Nitin, anyone who applies at ISB, na, सबकी profile अच्छी ही होती है. सबका marks is above 700. Everyone
Hmm.
has great marks. Everyone has got good stuff. It's someone who fits in well, someone who has a very good profile, uh, makes the cut. And I was
Yeah.
probably, or a lot of people were confused that, okay, so what is the definition of a good profile? Because it's a very qualitative thing. So what's your thought on
Correct.
that, Rich? I mean, man, how does an importance of a profile or things in terms of leadership, social impact? I think it's a big myth that a lot of people say that let me go and join an NGO because
Oh,
NGOK, there is
yes.
a way to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
your take on that?
Yeah.
I want to pick your brains on that. Yeah.
Right. So absolutely, Nitin. There's no good profile, no bad profile. Each profile is so unique, right? Each story is so unique. And believe you me, by now, when we read an essay, we immediately know if it's a templated essay or if it is coming right from the heart, right? So, and the biggest mistake that people do is talk about a social service or a social impact thing, which they possibly would have taken few months back, only to build it in that application, right? So guys, if you've never worked in an NGO, so be it. Don't talk about it. It's okay. Not everybody possibly had that realization, that awareness that, this is something, this is a cause that I seriously believe in, or this is something that will add merit to my profile later on. What ISB is looking for in the essay first, beyond everything, all the buzzwords, is honesty. It has to be a simple, clear cut out profile. We want to understand you. We want to know who Nitin is. So please present your best possible case. It has to be your true, honest story. Your hits, your misses, your highs, your lows, your learnings. What are your challenges? How do you wish to achieve, overcome them? How you wish to leverage ISB? That's it. This is what we want, right? Of course, because we're looking at future leadership, so we're looking at those leadership tenets, right? Leadership is not a title. So when you immediately talk about you seeing a failure but not giving up, showing the resilience to get up next day, start running again, well, for me that's leadership, right? Resilience is leadership. Showing empathy, you had to let go of something very important so that you could take care of someone in your team. Showing empathy towards a team member. So all of these are great examples which you will have to talk about in the essay. The essay exactly talks about all of this. So we are looking for those qualities, those skill sets, right? So you cannot morph them, you cannot build them overnight, because believe you me, guys, we AdCom members, when we're reading your essay, we're able to stitch the story, your whole origin story, to how you started in your career. That's why the career progression is very important, right? Because if you faced more challenges and if you've not given up, those spikes will show the kind of roles and responsibilities that you've taken up, right? Accordingly, your essay will talk about it. So we know how to build that story. And essentially, even at the interview, the alums in their conversation will know how much in depth you worked at it. So I think this is my take at it, Nitin.
I think very well explained because I think I would completely agree with the point. I mean, having seen so many profiles by myself and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
team very rigorously works with some of the big shots in terms of the application. I think honesty is a very important point that you told, because I can go on talking about things that I've not done on my CV and NSA,
Absolutely.
and probably no one would probably, sometimes we think कि यार कहाँ पता चलेगा, so how would someone get to know whether I've done this or
Oh,
not?
yeah,
But I think
yeah,
very
totally.
nice to mention that in the interview, or probably while reading, one would get to know. I mean, I hear people talking about that how they scaled up their business, whereas probably
Yeah,
that company doesn't exist today, right? So I mean, what were you
yeah,
scaling, right? So
correct,
I think that
correct,
becomes very
absolutely.
important, right?
Yeah,
So I think that
right.
that is something that becomes very important. So yeah, heading
Yeah.
over to our next question, which could be a controversial one, right? So
Oh,
imagine if Richa, I'm someone who has 5 to 6 years or 6 years, 7 years of work experience.
okay,
Uh, I've been someone who has done a bachelor's and then now been working.
okay.
Very nicely, probably there's a nice word that I've hit a midlife crisis, and I want to go for a further MBA program.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, great ISB. I know about it. Everyone talks about it. But then I also have the IIM giving the 1 year full-time MBA program,
Yes,
probably for
yes,
a
yes,
age bracket or a work experience bracket of almost the same pedigree, almost the same areas that are there, and
yes.
probably the entry level requirements are also the very same. They need a GMAT score, right? So there is
Mm,
the EPGP program, there is the PGPX program,
yeah.
right? Uh, so why should I choose ISB over any other B school? Not that they are not good. One of them is your alma mater, so of course, right? So
I
you
was
would
just
probably
going to say that now I know why it's a difficult question.
so yeah,
Right.
Richa. So yeah, I mean over to you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow, Nitin. Now, really, that's a tough question. So, see, guys, I think two, three things the way I look at it is that one, because I am also an alumna of IIM Bangalore, I know that the way ISB focuses on diversity, again, I know we've been talking about diversity a lot on this platform today, but that's a fact, guys. You got to address this white elephant right here. The amount of the tremendous focus that ISB has on diversity, believe you me, none of the IIMs have that, right? They have a very rule book approach that you have to have 80-90% in 10th, 80-90% in 12th. You have to be doing A, B, C, D. So they follow a rule book. I know the process because I've also worked in IIM Bangalore for about 6-7 years. So I'm very well aware of that process as well. So they have a rule book, right? Wherein I always felt that we're letting go of very good talent. We are letting go of very good perspectives that can table up if we allow certain profiles, very unconventional profiles, to be there as part of the cohort. But ISB has that approach. So I think that is one very unique thing about ISB. I would have never seen a sports person. I, in my tenure, have never seen a cricket player or Olympic player in ISB. He'll never cut the mark for there. So that's something which is very unique. I think the second thing which is very unique is because of the independence that ISB enjoys, because it's a private institution, it has a lot of flexibility to work with universities abroad, which is very, very different if you have to work with or if you have to go by any Indian B schools, because you have to maintain a certain Indian versus visiting faculty ratio, which we fortunately or unfortunately don't have to abide by. We can, if you saw in my slide, I talked about we have 70 resident but over 200 plus visiting faculty. So the idea of if you want to go and study in MIT Kellogg's, hey, you know what, we are bringing a faculty for you right here in India. So why ultimately people want to gain knowledge, right? They believe that they are more focused on research, their case studies are more cutting edge, more contemporary. We get you the same stuff because ultimately they are designing our curriculum, their faculty is coming and delivering those case studies. So that's also a very unique proposition that ISB has to offer. And third thing, because you're a working professional, ISB has close to 900 such people in 1 year on the campus, vis-a-vis a very small number. So I feel learning from more number of students, again, I think great learning opportunity. I'm getting to interact with 700, 800 more students. So definitely volumes also matter.
So I think very interesting point that you touched base, and I think that's a very fancy point, if I've, for a lack of a better word. is that I've not seen a lot of sports person. I'm someone who works as a sports analyst with IPL, with ISL.
Yeah.
I know about Virendra Skina. Not a lot of people know about it. That Virendra
Yeah.
Skina, who was our Olympic hockey captain,
Yeah.
is an ISB graduate, and he founded the Olympic Gold Quest,
OG.
a very nice company while he was at ISB. Ajay Jairam is one of the guys currently at ISB right now. You spoke
Yeah.
about IPL players joining next year, right?
Yeah.
So when you say that, and I know a lot of celebrities. I mean, Ankur Warikoo is now a
Yes.
celebrity, what I would say, right? And
Oh, but we also have a South Indian actress, producer, director. So she does these short documentary films. I'm forgetting her name. So she's also part of the current cohort. So we have those 10, 12%. I don't talk about it too much because then people get overwhelmed that, oh, you
yeah,
know what? I am not such a diverse person. So then it goes in the other direction. So I always tell them that, all those questions around, I'm from oil and energy, I'm from a PSU background, I'm from an NGO, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer. Do I stand a chance? The answer is you are diversity. I don't have any other better answer.
so that's where I was leading to my next question is because currently, I mean, we are actually also working, helping someone for their
Right,
ISB application who is a Telugu actor. Not supposed to tell the name, so that's I'll keep it to myself. So
right.
when you say diversity, I mean, of course, very nicely you said that a lot of people get overwhelmed because they know that ISB is someone who really looks into one of the essay topics says that how would you add to the class profile of ISB?
Right,
How would you be
right.
that one of the ISB folks that are there? So when you say about the diversity at the class profile for my audience here today, I mean, what are you exactly looking forward? Because then what happens that every other person is an engineer, right? Then
Yes,
do you think
yes,
being an
yes.
engineer, I don't stand a chance, or I should have not been an engineer? Harvard
Right.
talks very openly about their gender diversity as well. 3% of seats
Yes,
are reserved for women candidates coming from third world country. So if you can just
correct.
throw some light in terms of how do you define diversity? And if I'm someone
Right.
who has a very regular
Hmm.
candidature, I'm not someone who's an
Right.
actor, I'm not someone who's a sports person, I'm just a
Absolutely.
regular engineer. So
Right,
then
right.
what should I do to bring in the diversity? So can you throw some light on that, Richa?
Again, yeah, very important question. So what we are looking at is to design and compose a class which is, again, of course, not skewed to engineering. So in my diversity slide, yes, if you paid attention, we have about 37% of our class which comprises of women, which is closest to the Harvard standards, possibly the only school uh, in India, of course, who's at Harvard standards, while all the others, it's a staggering. It's a they are sort of struggling at 10, 15%. 15 is also quite high. Some are even struggling to get the double digits. The engineer non-engineer mix, we have the balance of 55, 45%. Again, there is a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes to read every essay to ensure that we're bringing in that mix. But that is from these parameters, something that we can quantify. But believe you me, when it comes to diversity, we are actually wanting to ensure that there is enough representation of industry, there is enough representation of functions. We want each. So if in the past we've not had somebody from the aviation industry, and if this year we see that we have a very unique profile which comes in from the aviation industry, that person will definitely stand a chance, because it is a very, he or she cannot be like you said, an actor, a performer, an artist, but the industry that he or she represents, the kind of work. So let's say even within consulting is a very umbrella word, right? Within consulting, you could be handling cybercrime, you could be handling you're consulting the government of India on defense or military or xyz. Not all of these are very interesting stories. They are very niche things that one is doing. He could be an engineer. He could have done the very mundane, engineering from maybe a top or a tier 2 or a tier 3. Irrespective of all of that, the kind of work that he's doing now and the kind of impact that he wants to create in the future, ultimately the brand ambassador for ISB, right? So that's the whole approach, I would say.
Got it, got it. I think that answers a lot of questions. So my next question is very interesting. So we were, I mean, let's talk about what's at. If I'm very clear, ISB is my college. I have written my GMAT. I mean, I'm asking this on
Right.
behalf of everyone. I've written my GMAT, or I am in process of writing it within another 10, 15 days or a month max,
Mhm.
right? Month max would be a too little late because 4th December. I mean, thanks to
Yeah.
ISB, I think just couple of days ago, you guys made it from 27 to 4th, if I'm
Yes.
not wrong,
Yes.
right?
Yes, that's right.
But a lot of people, why I was talking about the October, November time before I started, because from personally from last 6 years, I've been helping students, the team, Ms. Kritika, Mr. Santosh, they've been helping the students. And we have seen that October, November is the time where people get this full josh, ki, "Arey, I have to make it to a business school next year." And
Yeah.
sometimes they realize that they are running too late as well. I mean, there are
Hmm.
too many to do and too less time. So two questions I have. Uh,
Sure.
First of all, is that round two is very nearby. That is there in in the 4th of December, on the 4th of
Less than a
December,
month now.
right?
Yeah.
Less than a month now. I have just started my preparation. What would you suggest to me? Should I go and apply this year, or should I come back more prepared next year? Which is something that we also do not suggest. I'm pretty sure you would be on the same page. And also a sub part to that question is that, hey, I see that you have taken up a round three deadline as well, right?
Right.
And,
Right.
and thank you for internet being at my disposal. I've heard a lot of stories that round three acha nahi hai, round two is not good. So there's a lot of questions around round one versus
Myth.
round two versus round three. A lot
Yeah.
of myths
Yeah.
are there.
Correct.
So let's hear
Correct.
it from you, Richa, and please help us break all of this myth that is there. Yeah.
All right. Demystifying this whole round. Right. Guys, so the first question, right? So, guys, to each his own. And there is no right time to sort of, I cannot tell you that 2 months is enough to prepare. While officially the survey says that 100 hours slash 45 to 60 days is enough to prepare for any of the tests that you're aspiring or gunning for. Let me also tell you, share with you one or two tenets that I've heard my alums share whenever we do these sessions, that there is always a right time where that whenever your brain is ready, beyond a certain point your mind will get so tired, you'll be so over prepared that's when your performance goes low. As we say, right, in cricket, he's in form right now, he's not in form right now. So that's exactly what happens with GMAT GRE also. So of course I am not a GMAT GRE expert, guys. You guys can reach out to Nitin and his team, but yes, you will know over a period of time that maybe this much and no more is the preparation time. You are at your performance best, and that is the time, that best time to write your GMAT GRE. I have had students slash alums who've prepared for 15 days, who've taken also 6 months. So again, to each his own. You know your own strengths, you know your own weaknesses, you know who are the right people to this. Enough and more mock tests which are available. Feel free, if you've not given a shot to it yet, please go and give a mock at least. Both, one GMAT, one GRE, because both of them are unique in their own little way. You possibly, your mind is performing best for GMAT, for someone else, the mind would be performing better for GRE. So understand, work on your strengths, right? Be intelligent about it, guys. Don't stress about it. Take expert helps if you want to, right? So but identify your strengths, play on your strengths. So there's no right time, no wrong time, Nitin. I feel you know when you're ready, and the intelligent decision is knowing yourself that for me 45 days, 60 days is enough, and that's when I'm taking the test. I have had alums who said that my mind works best under pressure. I blocked the date on GMAT, I put that date on the wall, and I told myself I am acing this exam on this date. So
Got it. Got it.
it's it both ways,
So,
right?
but round three is also an option. Is that what you are also suggesting?
So
If
coming to your
by
second
chance I'm
question.
not able to make it, yeah,
Yes. Now coming to your second question, yes, we do have round three. Round three, while I have a date in my mind, which we've also sent to the dean's office for approval, because the whole R2 got kicked out by a week. So R3 dates also have been sent for approval. So once I have the written approval, only then will I be able to disclose it and publish it. But for you guys, yes, we have R3. It's typically mid-Jan, right? We are contemplating second week, third week, but it's mid-Jan for sure. Guys, now you need to understand, While at ISB, there is no differentiation. Everything remains the same. It's the same application form. Your essay doesn't change. Your interview process doesn't change. It's not that we get more strict alums for round 3. No, it's the same process. But understand that R1, R2, not for ISB, but for any college will be voluminous, right? More and more students will be applying, and maximum number of scholarships are planned here. Maximum number of seats are also taken in here. What makes R3 competitive is the seats are limited and less time that you get. So if you're going for, let's say, a Jan deadline, by the time you have your offer letter will be, let's say, first week of March or maybe mid of March. So essentially you're only left with 1 month. You all are working professionals. So you have to resign, serve your notice period, maybe buy out your notice period if it is more than 30 days. Financial planning, of course, the fees, etc., bank loan, la la la. But for 1 year, you're going to be away from your family. So are you bringing them along with you on the campus? Are you not bringing them? Who's taking care of them? So all of this planning has to be taken care of, which also makes it difficult for students to take the final call. So yes, when you hear that R3 is difficult, it's not that the difficulty level increases. It's just that people don't plan all of these things in their decision making. So if you've taken care of all of this, then I think R3 should not be a problem.
Got it, Richa. Fine. Just the last question before we just take up, I think, because we collated the questions first, so I think a lot of questions are definitely clear. I've asked my lovely audience to just type it out. We can pick some of them. Just one of the last question is that since we're talking about deadline and since we are almost at the last lap, the last stretch of this entire application, for round 2, very less time is left. Even if we talk or consider round 3, traditionally I have also seen and we have seen that it is every year it is mid-Jan, second week, Jan, third week. Of course, you'll make it public as and when you guys get an internal approval as well. But now that I'm a working professional, I have personal commitments, I have professional commitments. There's always, someone told me, I still remember last week I was talking to someone who said, Nitin, I'm very busy because my 2 cousins are getting married in the next 2 months because November, December, shadi wala time. I mean, these are very legit distractions to have. Now, my question here is that sometimes because I have to make it to a business school as well, I have my professional commitments on one hand, I have my personal commitments also in one hand, and then I have to apply as well because that MBA is also important.
Yes.
And that is where people reach out to folks like me, folks like Ms. Kritika, Mr. Santosh, and everyone for help. How important probably to take a professional help, right? I'm not saying that from us or anyone else, but probably a professional help. What does it bring onto the table, or probably working very closely with a B school consultant?
Yes.
Is that something that is prescribed? Is that something that makes life easy for all of us?
Sure. Again, Nitin, very important and pertinent question again. So guys, we all need help, right? And believe you me, when we are so sucked into the whole GMAT GRE preparation, and then when we are working on the application, beyond what point, you will realize that your mind is not creative enough, right? So sometimes we create a first draft, and then we are not able to bring in more to the table. So there's no harm to seek help, right? You could take professional help, you could take personal help, but please take help, right? If you're feeling stuck, don't procrastinate the process because there's enough help available. There are folks who are ready to help you. I'm sure you will have friends, I have alums who said that I reached out to my mom and said that, Mom, if you read this, can you connect with it? Do you think it's creating enough impact? Because sometimes a third person can give you a better perspective that, hey, you know what, Nitin, not this. I think you did better job in this project on that particular challenge. The way you performed, given you did not succumb to that pressure, that will create more impact. So it's just okay, guys, to reach out to folks for help because it's a tiring process. We know that you're preparing for your GMAT GRE. And another thing that I have to tell you guys, the last thing that you want to do is reach out for the last minute help, right? A lot of students are in that mode, keep Abhi, right now I'm only focusing on GMAT GRE. Let me first finish writing my exam. Then last 2-3 days, in that case, what you will happen is you have to understand it's application deadline time. All the consultants or all the folks are also busy, guys. So please reach out to them early. Start your journey today. After this session, if you think we were able to make sense, we were able to, touch your life in whatever little way, go back, at least look at the application form, look at what you're getting into, right? And then reach out to people, because they will also need time to understand you, build on your case. So give enough time for those conversations with one another, and more importantly, within yourself, because you have to ultimately carry this application till the final interview. So you have to know your application inside out. Every single line that has gone inside that application form, what worked, what did not work, the ease of doing it, the challenges that you were thrown at. Every single thing that you enter, you should have a why. Why did I did this? What were my learnings? Why did I move on to the next step? Please be very thorough with your application, and that can only happen if you've also had conversations with self. So yes, Nitin, sorry for a long-winded answer again, but I think that comes when you're in the counseling and the admissions team. You tend to be a little more verbose, uh, but yes, short answer: no harm in reaching out for help, and it's just okay, because mind gets tired, so it's just okay. Yeah.
So I think you touched base on a very important. Personally, I've also felt that. I think the entire MBA application has to do with a lot of introspection. You have to,
Yeah.
look within yourself, what you did, why you did, and how you did, and as you told, right, what you did something and how you did and why you moved on to the next project that you had. I think that is something that becomes very, very important, and it becomes very
Yes.
interesting in terms of why you should be doing it, right? And I think thank you for reiterating a point that I keep on telling to every webinar that I take, every student that I speak to. A very classical rookie mistake, rather, I would say, that people do is that they would go on and they would write their GMAT key, let me finish my GMAT, then I'll come and take help for application. That's a very
Absolutely.
rookie mistake to
Absolutely.
do. And,
Yeah.
and, and the reason for that is because it has to happen parallelly, right? And you have to commit yourself. You have to say, whatever happens, I'm going to give my 1 hour on a daily basis, right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and if you have too much on your plate, go take help. Yeah, I mean, there are thousands of consultants. They're the best in the country. Go and speak to them. Take help, because whatever probably investment you will do, it's going to get you a return in terms of your admit.
Yeah.
And probably this MBA that you're going to do is going to be the biggest decision as well as the biggest investment of your life. So better go
Yeah.
out there, take help, and there's no harm in doing that. So yeah, very well said that. So Richa, we'll pick up a couple of questions
Sure.
before we sign off for the day. So I've
Sure.
got
Sure.
Gravit who is asking this question, that I have been a businessman and entrepreneur from the last 11 years. I have not
Hmm.
worked under anyone. I have done my undergraduate BBA from Symbiosis Pune. But
Sure.
since I've not worked for anyone or under anyone rather, I don't know who can write a recommendation letter for me. So, Richa, you were talking
Sure.
about customers can write and stuff. So, can you help
Absolutely.
Dravid here with this question?
Absolutely. So, Gavit, in 11 years, you would have dealt with a lot of clients to whom you have sold or delivered your services or products. So, reach out to somebody who's all hooked on to you and who's all, yeah, Gavit. Or you could reach out to your customers, or an advisor who's a non-family, a non-relative, right? So anyone who's seen you, whom you have worked closely with, who's seen the latest version of Garvit, right? So has to be somebody in your network, in the professional network, that you would be knowing.
Got it, got it. I think next question is very sweet. It's coming from Khushbu, who is a mom of a 7-month-old, and so probably just I'll probably break down this question because a lot of people think so. I think
Yeah.
there's nothing like a day scholar program at ISB. It's a full-time residential program, at
Right.
least the PGP program. So what
Correct.
Khushbu asked could be a very specific, maybe you can reach out to Khushbu later, but she's saying that, is there any daycare option available like a lot of other colleges give it to you? And since she's a very young mother, so is there something that that she can take care of, like a daycare or something for the
Thank you,
kids?
Khushbu, for asking that question. You have so if you want to move in with your family on the campus will welcome you with open hands, right? So we have a separate facility for students who stay with their families, either spouse or kids or parents. We have something called the studios, so they will absolutely be very comfortable on the campus. Second, we do have the daycare or the creche at the campus. So if at home, your parents or your spouse cannot take care of the kid, you can leave them at the creche. A lot of students, faculty members, and even staff members, we avail of this facility. So yes, it's absolutely there.
Perfect, perfect. Right. Okay, so can the LOR can be taken from anyone other than my professional network? I hope that's possible, but not in the personal network, right? As you were mentioning. Yeah.
Not in your social, you cannot reach out to your friend, right? Because guys, understand that why is this LOR needed, right? I have been talking about that ultimately we want to understand who you are. So through your application, you're presenting your story, you're only giving me 10 minutes to understand you, right? Because I will not spend more than 10 minutes on that application reading it. Even the alums won't spend more than 5 minutes, 10 minutes before they call you in for the interview. So very quickly, you want to understand you, your likes, your dislikes, your challenges, your strengths, your weaknesses. So LOR is giving us an additional lens to know you slightly better. Maybe your recommender, your reporting manager, or your senior has seen that potential leadership in you, the team collaboration spirit in you, your never give up attitude in you, because ultimately it's all about that. So you are giving us an additional lens to understand you better, right? So they're mostly objective questions where they have to grade you on a scale of, I think, 5 or 6, and there are about 2-3 subjective questions where in 100 200 words, all of this has been specified. You don't have to fret about it again. So wherein they have to say that, how have you contributed in the project, and what are the unique things that you've done, and how ISB can help you, etc., etc. So I think somebody whom you worked with closely will be able to talk about it, not your friend, not your colleague, not somebody who reports to you, right? Only somebody higher up would have seen your struggles very closely. So that's why we emphasize that go to someone who's senior. You could be maybe very closely working with somebody in another department in the same organization, or you could be working with a client from some other organization. It's just fine, as long as the two of you all have worked very closely in professional arena.
Got it. I think a one-off question coming from Raj, since you talked about the international diversity while getting the scholarship
Right.
as well. So does that apply
Right.
to students from Nepal as well, or do we have?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 In Nepal, students from Nepal are also in the international category. Yes.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So I think Raj, that answers your question, right? Another interesting question is coming from Arvind, who asked this question on behalf of his wife, who is working as a pharmacist in one of the NGOs, and this year got married and is currently on a break, has total around 4 years of work experience, I assume.
Okay.
She has stands a chance getting into ISB. I know, very
Oh,
specific
absolutely.
question, but what do you think? Kaushik says
Uh,
absolutely. What would you like to add, Richa, to that? Yeah.
that was my first reaction. Look at 2-3 things. She's so high on diversity, women leadership profile, working in NGO, and I of course miss the part, the kind of roles and activities that she's doing, but I think she can absolutely build on what she brings to the table, how she can contribute to the social net impact club at ISB, what she wants to do next. I think that's a very important thing. Well, we will be very interesting story to hear that how she wants to leverage ISB. So I look at it
Yeah,
this
that makes up for a very nice, interesting question. So I think Neha has a very specific question. I think I can also answer, Richa. Let me know if that's right or
way.
wrong.
Sure,
So Neha
sure.
wants to that if I can go ahead and I can submit the essays right now, but my recommender is going to be only available in the first week of December. So can I
Hmm.
do that? Can I submit my essay right now? But the recommender probably can write it during the first week of December. That's a yes, right? That's a double.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Right. So guys, don't worry. We are there to help you out if you've got any question. I know it's almost dinner time. A lot of us, including myself and probably Richa, would be very hungry as well. Right. So
You
we
look
will
at
go
the
ahead and
energy
we would.
level. We're thriving on the the energy level that our attendees are giving, guys. So
Right.
keep those
Perfect.
questions
Perfect.
pouring. No
I
worries.
think
Yeah.
I'll take one last question, right, guys? If I have anything, this is your time. We'll just close in another 1 minute. I'll take this question coming from Guru Darshan because I get a lot of people who have done their CNI. If I've got it right, the apprenticeship that they do, it doesn't get counted as work experience. I think that's
Full-time work
first.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Doesn't get, but they do get some brownie points for that while they're applying.
It's
But
absolutely considered, but
can
the
they
system
take an
calculates it
LOR
as
from them?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
got it, got it. So they can take the LOA from the manager. That's the question
Absolutely.
Guru has. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Guys,
Right.
so Guru, you should absolutely mention about the 3 years of articleship. The system will automatically calculate it as part-time work experience. Your recommender can be somebody from your articleship, not a problem at all. And why it will impact you is that in the calculation of whether you are a PGP student or you are an EO student, that's where the number of years can be the game changer, but it does not impact your profile anyways.
Got it, got it, got it.
Yeah.
Is our GET period considered in our experience? That I assume the graduate engineering trainee period while they were as the
Yes.
trainee, and then they converted to full time. So a lot of companies do that while you
Yes.
were in promotion or trainee.
Yes.
So can we calculate that as our work
Absolutely.
experience?
Absolutely. Because, guys, any experience after you've completed your graduation, right? You could be a GET, you could be an MT, which is a management trainee, you could be an ET, which is an executive trainee. After you've completed your graduation is considered as full-time work experience. We understand that this is a training period. You can be on probation, you could be as working as an intern, it could be a small project as a consultant, and then they will confirm you. Whatever it is, anything after the graduation, completion of graduation is full-time work experience, period.
Got it, got it. I think Gravit had a couple of follow-up questions that are very specific. So maybe
Sure.
we can get on a call. My teammates, Gravit, you can just reach out to them. Let's take
Not
this one last question coming from Devansh, who has a big question. So let me probably, increase this screen size and then probably go and ask that. So Devansh has worked with a lot of. So if I can go ahead and I can make it in uh, small, it's a big answer. I think you can also read it, Richa, that he has launched a cloud kitchen company in November 20,
yeah,
which got the
yeah,
top 5 outlet, right? And launch some very big brands which are doing well. I'm looking forward to go to ISB. I'm very confused. If what so basically, I think Devansh has a very typical problem where someone has
problem of
done a lot
plenty.
of things, right? Where someone has done a lot of things, right? He has been a drummer in college. He has done a lot of
Correct.
things on entrepreneurship side. He
Right.
has got some issues with college marks or college name. Plus, he has done
Yeah.
a lot of work on launching a lot of cloud kitchens. So
Yeah.
I see that as a good diversification, a good brownie points to be added.
Absolutely.
Someone who
Absolutely.
has done
You
a lot of things, how do you think, what all they should talk on their application and what all they shouldn't, because it could be
sure.
a lengthy and there's a word limit as well. So what's your
Sure,
advice on
sure.
that,
Right.
Devansh? Yeah.
So, and this is coming from, this question is
Devansh.
from Devansh.
Devansh.
So, Devansh, I think Nitin has beautifully captured it that you should look at yourself as a diversity profile. All right. So, all the activities which do not add to your future career stints, you could park them in a placeholder called activities, achievements, hobbies, like your drumming stints, etc. If you were very active in the startup, entrepreneurial club, etc. So, if that is something which is not adding to your final story of what you want to do few years down the line and how you will leverage ISB, but you still want to bring in that aha about your profile, that's a placeholder, right? In your essay, 400 words, limited space, focus on something which is adding to your final story. That this is where I want to reach. This is where I am. This is my gap. I have my strengths, I have my weaknesses, and I want to bridge this gap with the help of ISB. If in this story, anything that you've done is adding to the whole, the drama, please give it the limelight, please share the real estate. But if all the others are just talking about the diversity part, that oh, I've also done this, oh, I've also done that, that could be in your employment tab, mark them as part-time, because the system will not allow you to mark 3 to 4 or maybe even 2 activities part-time simultaneously. Focus on something which you want to pursue and take it forward, that as full-time. All the others can be part-time. So put all your work experience in the employment tab, put all your extracurriculars in your hobbies, achievements, etc., and give the limelight in your essay, which is adding to your drama, that whole story.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I think that sums up the entire discussion that is there. Can anyone get diversity point advantage if they're worked in fields like R&D, manufacturing knowledge. Yeah, Shraddha, absolutely. As I think it,
Absolutely.
we can couple it with the other question that Rich has already answered, right? So anything that adds diversity, because I think ISB is a big fan of diversity, right? So
I think
I
our
think
diversity has been such a buzzword today. But no, guys, it's
right,
important. It's just one simple way of letting you guys know that you all are unique and you all are important to ISB. So don't second guess yourself. Don't reject yourself before ISB rejects on you, guys. That's the idea.
perfect, perfect. Awesome, awesome, Richa. So you know what? Thank you so much for this. Before I just sign off, any closing thoughts, any last minute tips, any secrets you want to spill out probably for all our candidates here, or any last minute advice that you think that that can help them out? Yeah, please.
Great. So I think, guys, I think I would just like to summarize this whole 1 hour of capsule that um, start focusing on your essays from today if you've not already, right? While you are working on your GMAT GRE, please pay attention to all of these elements in the application form. It's very, very important to ISP. We want to know you, and scores are not the true reflection of the person that you are or the potential leadership skills that you exhibit or can exhibit in future. So scores are not the indicators for leadership. So please focus on your essay. Feel free, we've talked about it, feel free to reach out for any support that you need. It's just okay. It's just okay to get stuck, to feel that you've hit the ceiling. So don't get overwhelmed, don't second guess yourself. And the only one trick or the one tip that I can leave you with is present your true honest story. I'm not looking at ornamental English or a great vocabulary. I'm just looking at a pure, simple, honest story, something that I can connect with, something that I can relate to, something after reading, I say, hey, you know what, let's meet this guy. So get it peer reviewed and just talk to yourself, have those conversations. Not much time. The application form is fairly simple, yes, lengthy, but fairly simple. So 1 hour, half an hour, bit by bit, you'll get there and you'll be able to present your best case. And with that, I think now I will, but all the best, guys, for your upcoming test and deadline. And big shout out for staying this long till 9. And thank you for all your patience. And thank you, Nitin, for you've been a lovely moderator and you've really sort of taken care of all of the questions in the chat window. So thank you so much for hosting us tonight and moderating it so seamlessly. Thank you so much. And to the
Thank you so
larger
much,
team for
Richa.
organizing it, guys. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course. I mean, special thanks to Jason and Kaushik also for getting
Yeah,
this done, right? So
right,
yeah, Rich, I mean, I'm really, really thankful to the entire ISB family. We are a company that works very closely, in very close collaboration with ISB. And being the founder, Mr. Santosh, or being half of our workforce comes
right,
from ISB. We hire from
right,
ISB as well. So that becomes very exciting to to always go out. And in
right.
fact, I would just like to add, since you mentioned this something, uh, it's very important that the one of the point that you mentioned, that it's very important that the college wants to know you. And if I read the essay, I'm like, hey, I want to meet this guy, because if I'm not wrong, if I have to end my entire discussion on a small number, almost 7,000 plus applications, ending up with almost 700 selects, the acceptance rate is as good as any, or probably makes it the most competitive business school in the
Yeah,
country. I think if everyone, and the essay topic is same for all of the 7,000 candidates.
absolutely.
If I've not
Irrespective of
written
ground.
something, exactly. So I've not written something that doesn't excite you. So let's say if I'm the AdCom member, if I read Richa's essay, like, wow, yeah, I would want to meet Richa. She sounds so cool. And I would want to at least get her on an interview with me and get it done. I think that
Absolutely,
is where,
absolutely,
it really adds up. And I think that applies not just to ISB, but to any business school all across the world, right?
absolutely.
So
And
thank you so much.
I
Yeah,
would
yeah, yeah.
love to just add one thing here, which just occurred to me, which I think I forgot to mention in one of the questions, possibly that guys, we do not have access to your scores, by the way. So when I'm reading your profile, the scores and the marks are masked. And when you appear for the interview, even the alums do not have access to your marks, your GMAT GRE scores, right? So it's all here. We only have access to your essays, to your letter of recommendation, and all the content that possibly you've drafted in that application form. So we don't get biased, and that's the idea. do not create the bias, right? So hence, please focus on the application form and get started today.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Richa. Thank you so much, the entire ISB team for
Great.
being here. I
Thank you,
hate
Nitin.
to break this discussion. I think if you just leave me, I would probably go on all night talk about MBA and applications, and
I
especially
think
ISB.
I think the two of us
Right?
are from the same school. Huh? We, we,
Yeah,
we, we keep
yeah.
on giving yarn to our to all our folks who are attending this session. But no, but thank you so much. And guys, we're right here. Feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. Write to us at pgp@isb.edu. And happy to take any questions that you may have. And you have a lovely team out there, Nitin and company. So big shout out to you guys. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Richa. So we'll call it a day here then, right? Thank you so much.
Right. Thank
And
you.
thank you for being a part of the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You have a great evening, whatever is left of it. And thank you, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Have a great